Did anyone ever tell you that the quietest sound after the age of 80 isn't the gentle ticking of a clock, but the profound silence where a familiar voice used to be? Have you ever considered that reaching this milestone, a testament to a long and resilient life, might feel less like arriving at a peaceful summit and more like learning to navigate a completely new and often treacherous terrain? Society tends to paint our later years in soft, pastel hues, a time of serene wisdom, gentle rocking chairs, and peaceful reflection. We see it in retirement brochures, in films, and in the well-meaning but simplistic reassurances we offer our elders. But for the millions who cross the threshold into their ninth decade, the reality is infinitely more complex, a raw and potent mix of quiet triumphs and deeply personal struggles that are rarely spoken of aloud. You have made it this far. You have loved, lost, built, and battled. You have witnessed history unfold, raised families, and contributed to the fabric of the world in ways both big and small. But once you reach your 80s, the world and your place in it begins to shift in ways that are difficult to articulate unless you are living them. The face in the mirror may seem familiar, but the body it belongs to begins to write its own rules. Your strength, your memory, your social world, and even your independence can feel like they are wearing thin, like a cherished piece of fabric fraying at the edges. The real challenge, the one that so often goes unaddressed, is not merely physical. It is an emotional, psychological, and spiritual crucible. It tests your resilience in ways you never anticipated, demanding a new kind of strength, a different form of courage. This is not an article designed to evoke fear or pessimism. On the contrary, it is an act of profound respect, an effort to bring awareness, to give a name to the invisible challenges that so many older adults face in silence. It is about helping you, whether you are approaching this age caring for someone who is, or simply seeking to understand the full arc of a human life, to prepare mentally, emotionally, and practically. Knowledge is not a burden. It is a tool. Being prepared for these truths does not make you cynical. It makes you powerful. It allows you to face the future, not as a passive recipient of fate, but as an active participant, armed with foresight, empathy, and choice. We will now embark on a deep and honest exploration of 5 profound realities of life after 80. These are the truths you deserve to know, so you can navigate this final, powerful chapter with the grace, dignity, and agency you have earned over a lifetime. Before we dive into the first reality, we invite you to take a moment and reflect. If you have a loved one in their later years or are contemplating your own future, what is one thing you hope to understand better about this stage of life? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your perspective is the foundation of the community we are building here, and it helps us all learn from one another. 1. The quiet epidemic of loneliness. Navigating a shrinking social world. One of the most profound and quietly painful transitions after 80 is the gradual and sometimes sudden evaporation of your social universe. The phone, once a constant source of connection, begins to fall silent for longer stretches. It is not because people have stopped caring, but because the constellation of individuals that once formed your world has fundamentally changed. Many are simply no longer there to make the call. This shrinking circle is the first hard truth, and its impact goes far deeper than a quieter home or an emptier social calendar. This phenomenon unfolds on multiple fronts. First, there is the most direct and irreversible cause: the loss of peers. Friends you shared school day secrets with, colleagues you navigated career challenges alongside, neighbors with whom you watched your children grow up. One by one, they may pass away. Each loss is not just the departure of a person, but the erasure of a shared history, a piece of your own story, a chapter that only they could corroborate with a knowing nod or a shared laugh, vanishes with them. You become the sole keeper of memories that were once a duet, and the silence they leave behind is a unique form of solitude. Beyond this, there is the subtle but significant shift in family dynamics. Your children, whom you poured your life into, are now likely in their 50s or 60s, navigating their own complex lives. They may be grandparents themselves, juggling their own careers, health concerns, and the demands of their own families. Their love for you has not diminished, but their capacity and energy are finite. The frequent visits may become more scheduled, the spontaneous phone calls less common. You may feel a pang of understanding mixed with a quiet ache as you see them caught in the same whirlwind of responsibility that you once were. It's a natural progression of life, yet it can leave you feeling like a spectator to the lives you once anchored. The third, and perhaps most insidious layer, is a form of self-imposed isolation. The physical realities of aging can erect invisible barriers to social engagement. Perhaps you no longer feel comfortable driving at night, or the effort of getting dressed and ready for an outing feels monumental. The ambient noise of a bustling restaurant, once energizing, may now make conversation impossible. You begin to perform a constant cost-benefit analysis before accepting any invitation. Is the joy of the event worth the physical toll it will take? All too often, the perceived cost outweighs the benefit, and you choose to stay home. This creates a dangerous feedback loop. The less you connect, the more invisible you feel. And the more invisible you feel, the less energy you have to try and connect. Loneliness, in this context, is not merely the absence of people. It is the feeling of being unseen and unmoored. It is the chilling realization, as one 84-year-old woman named Sandra shared, that no one is expecting your call, and that if you were to disappear for a day or two, it might go unnoticed. This feeling erodes your sense of mattering, of having a place in the world. Psychologically, chronic loneliness in older adults is strongly linked to an increased risk of depression, anxiety, and even cognitive decline. It's a health crisis that unfolds behind closed doors. Yet, this is not a foregone conclusion. Recognizing this reality is the first step toward combating it. The counterbalance is to understand that while you cannot rebuild the world that is gone, you can intentionally cultivate the world that is here. This requires a shift from passive waiting to proactive planting. Some find new purpose in volunteering, not just to stay busy, but to feel genuinely needed and connected. Others discover immense value in what can be called micro-connections. The daily, friendly chat with the postal worker, the librarian, or the barista at the local coffee shop. These small, consistent interactions can be powerful anchors in a day that might otherwise feel adrift. It is also crucial to be open to intergenerational friendships. Your life experience is a treasure. Mentoring a younger person or simply sharing your stories with a neighbor's child can forge bonds that are uniquely enriching for both parties. The goal is not to replace what has been lost, but to ensure you are not navigating the present in isolation. This first reality is often the most challenging to confront. If you have felt this deep ache of isolation yourself, or have witnessed it in a loved one, please acknowledge its significance by commenting with the number 1 below. Simply naming this experience is a powerful act of validation and the first step towards seeking and building new connections. And if you are finding this in-depth analysis valuable, please take a moment to press the like button. Your support helps us continue creating meaningful content. 2. The unpredictable body, beyond a simple decline to a daily negotiation. When we think of physical aging, we often imagine a slow, steady, and predictable decline, a gentle, linear slope downwards. But for many who live past 80, the reality is far more complex and emotionally taxing. It is less a decline and more a daily, unpredictable negotiation with a body that seems to have a mind of its own. One day, your energy levels are high and your joints are cooperative. The next, a profound fatigue sets in, and every movement is an effort. It is this inconsistency, this rebellion without a clear pattern, that can be one of the most psychologically wearing aspects of advanced age. This is not about the dramatic, life-altering health events, but the subtle, day-to-day fluctuations that erode your sense of stability. You might enjoy 3 consecutive nights of restful sleep, feeling rejuvenated and hopeful, only to be jolted awake at 3 a.m. on the 4th night, staring into the darkness with a racing mind for no discernible reason. Your digestion, a reliable system for 8 decades, may suddenly revolt against a food you've always enjoyed. Your balance might feel solid one morning and precarious the next. It's as if your body is constantly changing the rules of the game without providing you with an updated manual. This unpredictability can make you feel like a stranger in your own skin, leading to a constant, low-grade anxiety. You begin to question everything. Is this new ache a sign of something serious? Or is it just a passing glitch? Should I bother my doctor with this? Or will it be gone by tomorrow? This internal dialogue of wait and see versus seek help is exhausting. It's not the pain or the symptom itself that wears you down, but the perpetual uncertainty and the feeling of being betrayed by the very vessel that has carried you through life. Furthermore, this struggle is almost entirely invisible to the outside world. To your family and friends, you might look perfectly fine. You are still walking, talking, and managing your daily affairs. They don't see the immense reservoir of mental and physical energy it takes just to maintain that semblance of normalcy. They don't see the internal calculus you perform before getting out of a low-slung chair, or how you meticulously plan your errands to coincide with your good hours. They don't know that you sometimes sit down not because you are tired, but because a wave of dizziness has made standing feel treacherous. This disconnect between how you feel and how you appear can be profoundly isolating, making it difficult to explain your needs without feeling like you are complaining or exaggerating. The hope that springs from a good day can be a double-edged sword. It offers a glimpse of your former self, a reminder of vitality, which can make the subsequent bad day feel like a more devastating blow. This roller coaster of physical capability is not a sign of weakness. It is the fundamental reality of an aging system working overtime to maintain equilibrium. You are still you, but the operational requirements have changed. So, how does one navigate this? The most powerful tool is not resistance, but adaptation. And the foundation of adaptation is routine. Establishing simple, consistent rituals can provide an invaluable sense of predictability and control in an otherwise unpredictable landscape. This could be as simple as starting every day with a glass of warm water, performing a few gentle stretches before bed, or ensuring you get 10 minutes of sunlight, even if it's just by sitting near a window. These small, deliberate actions send a signal to your body and mind that you are working with it, not against it. They become anchors in the shifting sands of your physical state. Learning to listen intently to your body's subtle cues and honoring them is a newfound wisdom. It means accepting that rest is not a luxury, but a necessity, and that pacing yourself is a sign of intelligence, not surrender. This constant, hidden battle with an unpredictable body requires a new kind of resilience. If this concept of daily negotiation resonates with you, and if you recognize the importance of adapting with grace rather than fighting a futile war against change, please comment with the number 2 below. We would also be very interested to hear any personal strategies or routines you or your loved ones have found helpful in the comments. And if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to our channel and hitting the notification bell. Your support ensures you won't miss our future deep dives into life's most pressing topics. 3. The weight of memory, the unique emotional cost of outliving your world. There is a particular kind of grief that settles in during the later chapters of life, a sorrow that is less about a single event and more about a cumulative state of being. After 80, you do not just experience loss, you can become a curator of it. The burden of outliving the people who defined your world, your spouse, your siblings, your closest friends, carries an emotional weight that is profoundly different from the grief of younger years. It is the quiet pain of being the last one standing, the sole keeper of a shared history that now exists only in your mind. Imagine finding an old photograph, a moment of joy frozen in time from 1965. Your immediate instinct might be to call someone and say, "Remember this day?" But then, a quiet wave of realization washes over you. There is no one left to call who would remember. The person who shared that inside joke, the sibling who knew the full story behind that silly expression, the spouse who held your hand just out of frame, they are all gone. You are left alone on the stage, holding the script to a play whose cast has departed. This is not just loneliness. It is the solitude of history. It is the realization that your personal timeline, your life's narrative, has lost its primary witnesses. This can also be accompanied by a subtle, often unspoken form of survivor's guilt. It is not a guilt born of wrongdoing, but a perplexing, existential question. Why am I still here when they are not? You may find yourself replaying past conversations, pondering missed opportunities to connect, and carrying unanswerable questions that circle in the quiet hours of the night. This form of grief does not necessarily fade with time. It integrates itself into the fabric of your being. It changes shape, becoming a constant, quiet companion. One man, an 87-year-old named Robert, beautifully articulated this ongoing presence of loss. He said the hardest part of his day wasn't his aching back or his failing eyesight. It was the force of habit that made him reach for a second coffee mug in the morning, or the way he would sometimes hear his late wife's voice in his head, offering a witty response to a thought he hadn't even spoken aloud. These are not dramatic waves of grief, but gentle, persistent currents that remind you of the spaces they once filled. It is the emotional labor of navigating a world that is full of their ghosts, a world where their absence is as tangible as their presence once was. However, within this profound challenge lies an equally profound and unacknowledged strength. There is immense courage in waking up each morning to a quieter house and still choosing to engage with the day. There is a sacred duty in being the one who remembers. To be the vessel for these stories is not just a burden, it is a legacy. Reframing your role from the one left behind to the designated storyteller can be a transformative act of empowerment. Your memories are not just personal relics, they are precious historical documents, testaments to lives well lived. The practical application of this reframing is to actively share these stories. Tell your children, your grandchildren, your neighbors. Write them down in a journal. Record yourself speaking them aloud. Create a scrapbook that pairs photographs with anecdotes. In doing so, you are not only honoring the memory of those you have lost, but you are also ensuring that their legacy and your shared history continues to breathe. You are passing the torch. While new relationships cannot replace the old, they can bring new light, new laughter, and new perspectives. Staying open to connection, even with the inherent risk of future goodbyes, is an act of defiant hope. Acknowledge the grief, let it walk beside you, but do not let it be the only voice in the room. Being the keeper of memories is a role of immense weight and sacred honor. If you have ever felt this poignant responsibility of being the one left to tell the stories of a generation, please type the number 3 in the comments. Your acknowledgement can offer solace to others who walk a similar path, reminding them they are not alone in this unique journey. Your engagement is what makes this a true community. 4. The silent erosion of autonomy, the delicate struggle for personal freedom. A strange and deeply frustrating paradox often emerges after the age of 80. Just when you have accumulated a lifetime of experience, wisdom, and judgment, the world around you can begin to treat you as if you have none. Your personal freedom, the very essence of your adult identity, can start to shrink, not through malice, but through the misguided and overprotective love of those who care for you most. This silent erosion of autonomy is one of the most significant and underappreciated battles of later life. It often begins with small, seemingly innocuous actions. Your adult children might insist on driving you everywhere, even on sunny days when you feel perfectly confident behind the wheel. They might start to monitor your diet, question your medication schedule, or subtly reorganize your home for safety. Each action is born from a place of genuine concern and love. They fear for your well-being. Yet the cumulative effect of these well-intentioned interventions can feel like a slow-motion stripping of your agency. You, the person who once made decisions for an entire family, suddenly find yourself being advised, guided, and gently coerced. You are no longer the final authority on your own life. This is where a deep, simmering frustration takes root. You know your own body, your own limits, and your own mind better than anyone. You have earned the right to make your own choices, even if they are not the choices your children would make for you. Yet you find yourself in conversations where your preferences are treated as secondary to your safety, as if reaching a certain age automatically negates a lifetime of competent self-governance. One 84-year-old woman, Joyce, described this feeling with painful clarity. Her daughter, in an effort to be helpful, had started scheduling her entire day, from her morning walk to the television shows she watched in the evening. It came from a good heart, Joyce said, but it made me feel like a project to be managed, not a person to be respected. I felt like I was being erased, bit by bit. This struggle is not about being stubborn or refusing help. It is a fundamental fight for dignity. The right to choose what to eat for dinner, who to visit, or how to spend your afternoon may seem like small things, but they are profound expressions of identity. They are the threads that make up the tapestry of a self-directed life. When others start pulling those threads, the entire picture can begin to unravel. This process, sometimes referred to as the infantilization of the elderly, is demeaning and can lead to feelings of helplessness and depression. So, what is the path forward? It lies in the delicate art of setting gentle but firm boundaries. This is not selfish. It is essential for maintaining your psychological well-being. It requires clear, calm communication. You can learn to say things like, "I deeply appreciate your concern for my safety, but I need to be the one to make this decision." Or, "Thank you for the suggestion. Let me think about it, and I'll let you know what I decide." Another powerful approach is to reframe the conversation with your loved ones. Suggest a family meeting, not as a confrontation, but as a collaborative planning session. In this space, you can express your desire for independence while also acknowledging their valid concerns. Together, you can create a plan that balances safety with autonomy. The goal for families should be to shift their mindset from caring for to enabling. Instead of forbidding you from cooking, they could help you purchase safer appliances. Instead of driving you everywhere, they could research senior-friendly transportation services that you can use on your own terms. True support empowers. It does not restrict. Protecting your independence is not just about preserving your pride. It is about staying actively engaged with the world in a way that feels meaningful and authentic to you. Your choices are the signature of your soul, and no matter your age, that signature deserves to be honored. The battle for personal autonomy is, at its core, a battle for dignity. If you believe strongly in the importance of respecting the agency and choices of our elders, please comment with the number 4 below. We would be fascinated to hear your thoughts on the complex balance between ensuring safety and honoring independence. Share your valuable perspective in the comments. 5. Embracing fragility, redefining strength with grace and wisdom. In a culture that worships youth, speed, and unyielding strength, one of the most humbling and ultimately liberating lessons after 80 is learning to come to terms with your own physical fragility. This is not about a single diagnosis or a dramatic event, but about the countless small, daily moments that remind you the body has new limits. It's the slight tremble in your hand as you lift a full cup of tea, the careful planning required to get up from a low sofa, the frustrating challenge of buttoning a shirt or tying your shoelaces. These moments, if you let them, can chip away at your confidence and make your world feel smaller. You may begin to unconsciously edit your life, planning your days not around what you want to do, but around what you feel you can safely do. That shift, while pragmatic, can feel like a slow surrender. It's easy to see this growing fragility as a personal failure, as a sign of weakness in a world that demands we push through, overcome, and conquer. But here lies a profound opportunity for a radical redefinition of strength. Fragility is not weakness. Weakness is giving up. Fragility is a physical reality that, when met with wisdom, becomes a catalyst for a deeper, more resilient form of strength. Your body is not failing you. It is communicating with you in a new language. It is asking you to move more mindfully, to listen more closely, to rest more intentionally. It is reminding you that after 8 decades of holding you up, carrying your burdens, and enabling your dreams, it now requires a more gentle and collaborative partnership. I once met a remarkable 89-year-old woman named Nancy who used a beautifully carved wooden cane. When I complimented it, she smiled and said something I will never forget. "I don't mind that I need this. I earned it. Every step this cane supports is a step on a long, meaningful road. I'm still walking." That mindset is everything. Nancy had reframed a symbol of limitation into a badge of honor, a testament to her longevity and endurance. While some might hide their need for a walker or refuse to wear a hearing aid out of pride, thereby isolating themselves further, those who find true strength are the ones who adapt with grace. They see these assistive devices not as signs of defeat, but as essential tools that allow them to continue participating in the world. Using a cane means you can still take that walk in the park. Using a hearing aid means you can still enjoy conversations with your great-grandchildren. This is not surrender. This is strategic adaptation. It is the ultimate expression of the will to live fully. Strength after 80 is no longer about brute force or pushing through pain. It is about the wisdom of energy conservation. It is about consciously choosing where to invest your finite physical resources. It's about deciding that spending your energy on a coffee date with a dear friend is more valuable than stubbornly trying to scrub the floor on your hands and knees. It is the strength to ask for help without shame, recognizing that interdependence is a sign of a healthy community, not a personal failing. It is the quiet courage to accept your body as it is today, with gratitude for all it has done and all it can still do. So, do not fight your fragility. Learn to dance with it. Let it teach you patience, mindfulness, and a deeper appreciation for the simple miracle of a body that has carried you this far. The true measure of your strength in this chapter is not found in what you can lift or how fast you can move, but in how you carry yourself through it all, with courage, dignity, and the quiet, unshakable grace that only a long life can bestow. This fundamental shift in perspective, From viewing fragility as a weakness to seeing graceful adaptation as the ultimate strength is truly transformative. If you agree that the definition of strength evolves throughout our lives and that its highest form in later years is wisdom and grace, please comment with the number 5. And if this entire exploration of life's later chapters has provided you with new insights and value, we would be so grateful if you would subscribe to our channel. Your support is what allows us to continue this important work. Navigating life after 80 is not a gentle glide into the sunset. It is an active, complex, and profound journey fraught with challenges that are too often shrouded in silence. It is about facing the quiet epidemic of loneliness, the daily negotiation with an unpredictable body, the sacred weight of memory, the silent struggle for autonomy, and the humbling wisdom of embracing fragility. To pretend these realities do not exist is to do a great disservice to our elders and to our future selves. But to acknowledge them is not to succumb to fear. It is to choose empowerment. You are not a burden. You are not forgotten. You are not invisible. You are a survivor, a storyteller, a vessel of history. Your presence, your memories, your laughter, and yes, even your stubborn, resilient spirit matter more than ever in a world that moves too fast and forgets too easily. The goal is not to simply live longer, but to live deeper. It is to find meaning, not in spite of these challenges, but directly through them. As we conclude this deep dive, we leave you with a question to ponder. After exploring these 5 profound realities, what is the single most important lesson you are taking away for yourself, for how you view aging, or for how you will interact with the cherished elders in your own life? We would love to hear from you. Please leave a comment below and share the one thing you learned today and how you plan to use that knowledge. Your thoughts are incredibly important to us, and reading your comments gives us immeasurable motivation and encouragement. If you found this article helpful and insightful, please show your support by hitting the like button, subscribing to the channel, and sharing it with someone who might benefit. Your support helps us continue to create good content designed to inform, inspire, and connect us all. Thank you for joining us on this journey. Walk with pride, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.